In this lesson, we're going to look at scripting our coin so that we can add points. So let's open up a few scenes. So we're going to need scene 1, and we're also going to need the coin scene and also the HUD. So there's the HUD and there's the coin, okay. We will have to deeply reference the trees here, so we have to be a little bit careful. So now we've got all of these three open, let's head on over to the scripts, and the first script we're going to look at is the coin script. Now I've gone ahead of time and deleted all of the content from the scripts that we set up last lesson, both in the coin and in the HUD, so we've absolutely got just the first line of code, which is all we need. Now what we're going to do with the coin is we're going to reference the HUD. In order to do this, we have to change the extends option here, and we have to reference it to the actual HUD script. So I'm just going to delete where it says area 2D. I'm going to leave the extends, and I'm also going to leave the space. Now I'm going to come over to my scripts folder, and I'm going to click on where it says HUD, and then right click and copy path. So once I've got the path copied, I'm just going to add some speech marks, and then inside the speech marks, I'm going to paste that path. So my one says extends res and then scripts HUD.gd. So this now sets me up so that the coins can link directly to the HUD script, which is really cool. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a signal. So let's just make sure we're on the coin. To make sure we are completely on the coin, we're going to click on the 2D, I'm going to select the coin, and then I'm going to come over to node. Now the signal that we're trying to set up is coin body entered, okay? So when the body enters into the coin, so we're looking for something that says a body entered. So here it is, body entered. So we're going to select this one, and then we're going to connect it. Make sure we're on the coin again, and everything looks good there. So now we're back into the coin script, and we have this new function called on coin body entered. Now inside of this is where we're going to add our lines of code. So what we want to do when the player enters into the coin, we want it to add 5 points to our score, and we also want it to disappear. So we don't want it to keep being there. So the first thing we need to do is add an if statement. So we say if body dot name, and this one is equal to, but in order to do equal to, we need two equal signs, okay? So there's actually two equal signs there, not just one. So it says if body dot name is equal to, and then we need to give it our player's name. So if we were to head back on to the actual level 1, you'll notice that my player node is called player with an uppercase P. That's really important. If you've called yours something different, you'll have to reference it here, okay? So inside of some speech marks, we're just going to say player. And then after the speech marks, we just need a colon. If body.name equal to player, then we need to do something. We need it to collect 5 points, and we need the coin to disappear. So we're going to say get node, so get underscore node. Now the node that we want is actually where the script is held. So the actual script inside the HUD is actually placed here. So this is the node we're trying to get. We're trying to get to this script. There is a bit of weirdness here. So if I go back to the coin, so when we say get node, we then need to put it in brackets, and then we need some speech marks. So the first thing we need to say is we need to find the root. Okay, so we just say backslash root, and then forward slash again, so forward slash root forward slash, and then we need to say HUD. Now this is where it gets really weird, because if we type HUD all in capital letters, it will actually break, okay? Even though this is the one we're looking for, it will actually break. And it's something to do with the way that Godot interprets the language. So instead we have to say HUD, so with lowercase, okay? So if you have done the same as me where you've said all uppercase, it does have to be H and then lowercase u and then lowercase d in order for this to actually find the correct node. So then we want to add 5 points. So we want to get to the score label. So we want to kind of add to this score here. So we're going to set up a variable actually in the script. So I'm going to go ahead of time and tell it what the variable is going to be called. So I'm going to say dot score, all lowercase, and then we're going to say plus equals 5. Now, once again, if you miss this equals sign, it will break, okay? It won't actually display it. So it's plus equals 5. Just be very aware of that. And then we just need one more line of code. The next line of code is what gets rid of the coin after the body has gone through it. So we're just going to say Q3. So it's Q-U-E-U-E underscore free. And then, actually, if we go back, and then open and close brackets, okay? So that is pretty much the whole thing here. So just, those are the main things. Make sure when you're looking at the root, that you've actually got it /root /HUD, and you can only use one capital in that, otherwise it will break. So that's pretty much that script. Let's just save that. So save scene. Now let's move on to the HUD script itself. This is where it gets a little bit confusing, because we're just going to link up the score with the actual collecting of the coins. So the first thing we need to do is set up that variable that we did in the last one. So it's var, and the variable is called score. So if we go back to the coin, this is the variable here, okay? So we're just linking those two together now. So var score, and then we're going to set it equal to 0. And then we need to set up a set get method, so it can kind of communicate both backwards and forwards. We just say set get, all one word, and then we're going to set up a function. So the function is called set underscore. So it's a set underscore score, okay, all lowercase. Now on the next line, we just need to set up the set score bit, okay. So we're going to set up a function, so it's func, and then it's set underscore score. And then at the end of this, we just need a bracket, and then we need a parameter. So the parameter we're going to use is called value. Okay, and then finally just finish off with a colon here. Now for some reason we're getting an error message here, and that's because I've forgotten the equals sign. So it's var score equals 0, and then set get, so the 0 can communicate backwards and forwards, so you can actually add points to it from any level, which is good. And then in order to add the points, we've got this set score function, which is going to add the points to the actual value, to the actual label. So on the next line, we're going to say score, and then we're going to pull in the parameter of value. So as it gets past 5 points, that value will get passed in. Now, the next thing we need to say is get node again, get underscore node. And this is going to get this actual score parameter this time, so we can actually change the text. So get node, and then brackets, and then speech marks. And once again, this can be a bit funny. So the actual node we're trying to get, once again, is the root node first. So it's /, and if you forget the /, it won't actually work. So it's /root, and then /, and then HUD again, so it's capital H and then lowercase u-d. If you try and spell them with an uppercase U or D, it will break. And then /, and then display. Now this is where the convention actually breaks again, because we do have to use score all uppercase now that we've actually found the node. I'm not sure why it does that, a little bit weird, but we're just going to say score all uppercase now. And then that brings us to the end of that. And then we just need to tell it what we're going to do. So inside of score, there's actually a parameter here called text. So what we want to do is change this text parameter. So currently we've written score :0. So we want to change that parameter to something new, okay? So let's go back to our script. So we want to say dot, and then the label that we're trying to get is set underscore text. And then we want another bracket, and then inside the bracket we're going to start with speech marks. So the first bit is just static text, so we want that score label with the colon to stay exactly the same, and then inside the brackets we want a little space. Now after that we're going to say add something to it, so concatenate to this. So what we're going to concatenate is a string value, so str, and then we're going to put whatever the score is. So we're going to say score, which is this variable up here. So as we're passing through this value, let me just make this bigger so you can see the whole text. And I believe that is pretty much us. Now we do have a bit of broken text here for some reason. Now why is that? Let me just try and work this out. Oh, it's because I've spelt set wrong. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah, okay, that looks okay. So that's it in a nutshell. So we've got 2 bits of code. On the coin script, we've got these lines of code here. And then on the HUD script, we've got these lines of code here. I will give you a screenshot of that as well, so that you can copy it straight from the screenshot if you want to. Before we go and preview, let's just save all scenes. So hopefully all those stars go away, which is great. Now let's go back to the 2D and let's just click on the first level. Now in the last level, I already added a coin just to test this, okay? So let's press play. And then hopefully as I walk through, you'll see that it changes to 5, which is absolutely great. Now what I want to do is I want to add a few more coins on a few of the levels as well, just to make sure that all the levels are working and that my score continues going through. So what you can do is you can actually select the coin and then press Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac, and then you can just click and drag, okay? So I'm just going to add one here, and then I might add one here. So Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac, and let's just put one up here. So we've got 3 coins on this level. Now we'll just save that level quickly. So save scene, and now let's go to our level 2 and add one there as well. So open up level 2, and then from our level 2 we just want to click on this link button, and then we want to get the coin. So let's select the coin, double click, and now we'll add it. Now remember, I put mine above the actual player just so that the player kind of goes in front of it, and we can just move that to here, and then Command D again or Control D just to duplicate, and then we've got a couple of coins there. So if I just save all scenes and let's run it again from level 1, and let's just see, make sure that this score continues through. So here we go, currently on a score of 0. So the first one we have 5. Then we have 10. Now we're going to get on the ladder. And once we get to the top, we're going to go across. So when we're leaving this first level, we've got 15 points. Now because the HUD is linked to all the levels, because this is kind of a consistent, an auto loader, when we go through this into level 2, we should see that we stay on 15 points, all being well. And there we go. And then when we collect the next coin, hopefully it goes to 20 points and we are all good there. So we're going to look at adding health. We're going to look at minusing points and dying and things like that. I'll do one more video just to add another collectible, just to consolidate this method as well. So get your coins in, add them to all 3 levels, and I'll see you in the next video.